Are you trying to get into audiobooks but are struggling with it? Worry no more, this video may be able to help you out. Hi there, I'm Manpreet. I make book related videos on this channel, and in today's video, I'm going to share some tips that I have used myself to get into audiobooks. I'm really happy to announce that today's video is being sponsored by an audiobook app which is called Storytel. I'll link it down below. You can sign up for a free trial of this app, and I'll be talking more about this app as we proceed with this video. No matter what subject I choose for my videos, there is this one person who's always gonna ask, but why do I even need to do it? But why do I even need to read books? Why do I even need to read non-fiction and all that? This is why I'm going to tell you why reading or listening to audiobooks is a good idea. Number one reason, you can utilize your free time that would otherwise be wasted. For example, if you're going to commute to your office or to your college, you have some free time which you would probably spend on listening to the radio or repetitive news. Basically, that time of your day won't be productive. You can make it more productive by listening to audiobooks. This is especially helpful for the people who feel dizzy while driving. Like if I'm in a car, I cannot read, but I want to read, so audiobooks are the way to go. You can also use audiobooks if you take your dogs for the walk or if you go to the gym. Basically, any time when you are doing some repetitive activity that doesn't really involve your mind. Number two reason why you need to be reading audiobooks is that it helps you with your language skills. Now, we read a lot of books, and reading a lot of books makes our language a little bit better than the people who do not read books. But the thing with reading books is that you never get to know the actual pronunciation of the word. So you either have to spend your time watching Netflix, or you can be consuming the books you really want to read, listen to them, and improve your grasp of the language. Number three, audiobooks are certainly another great way of consuming ideas that are found only in books. So you should be reading them, right? Or listening to them. I'm correcting myself because last video I made about listening to audiobooks, documenting my experience, everybody was like, listening or reading or listening? Number four, listening to audiobooks, some of them is actually very soothing, and it also helps you to relieve stress, which is awesome. No, if you're bored with meditation, if you're bored with listening to those lectures about being calm and all, you can listen to the audiobooks and be calm, be stress-free, and be productive. Back to talking about our sponsors. So Storytel is an audiobook app that I actually found on Instagram. A lot of people were talking about it. Then Books on Toast, which make videos, mainly podcasts about books. They made a video about audiobooks, and that video was also sponsored by Storytel. So I found about Storytel, and these guys contacted me as well, and I decided to answer my emails and try out this app. Was I using any other audiobook listening app before? Yes, I was using LibriVox, which I mentioned in my previous video. But the problem with that is it had only classics. It had barely any non-fiction and self-help books that I wanted to read. And it definitely had no new releases, like new books. So Storytel appeared to be a great alternative, having a lot of books, a lot of latest releases, a lot of books of this time and not just classics. And I do have a list of features that I really like about Storytel, which I'll tell you after I talk about these points on how to get into audiobooks. Number one tip I have for you is start slowly. Now, when people get into audiobooks, they really get disappointed with their comprehension rate. Now, don't be disappointed if your comprehension rate is not 100%. Even if it's like 70% or 50%, it's fine. When I started, I could not understand anything with the audiobooks. That was like 2-3 years ago. I didn't read audiobooks, but I knew this was a great way to utilize my time. So I tried more. I tried listening to podcasts, and then eventually I moved to an audiobook app, and now my comprehension rate is almost, I say, 95%. Like, I get all the ideas that I'm listening to. The recalling ability is what I am not very sure about, but as long as you make notes, which I usually do all the time, which is something everyone should do anyway, you are good to go with the audiobooks. But you have to be slow and be patient with it if you are just starting out with audiobooks. Number two, what are the best genres for audiobooks? I believe that audiobooks are a great way to consume non-fiction literature and also self-help and business books. I am very much into them. I feel like this is very important for your personal development, for your career, and you should be reading these kind of books, but reading them in actual gets pretty boring. But if you have a great narrator, for example, I'm currently listening to a Tony Robbins book, and he has narrated the book in his usual style, which is so empowering, which is so inspiring. It just gets so much better. So when you're starting out, I would suggest, if you are comfortable with these genres, you can start with non-fictions and personal development, and it would be the best decision you ever make. Number three tip I have for you is try different speeds. If you think the narrator is being too slow, fasten it up. If you think the narrator is being too fast, slow it down. For the longest time, I didn't know YouTube also has this feature of fastening your videos or watching videos at 2 times speed or at half the speed. And the day I realized that feature is there, it was like I have discovered the biggest secret of the world. And that is with the audiobook reading. You have to experiment with the pace so that what works for you is what you are consuming and not just trying to adjust to something you are not comfortable with. When you're starting out, go for distraction-free reading. When you're starting out, don't be like that person who's gonna go into the crowded bus and then try to listen to the book. When you're starting out, sit in your room and try to listen and try to consume the ideas. And when you have gotten enough experience, get out and listen to the books during the time which would otherwise be wasted if you were not listening to audiobooks or if you were not watching my channel. What are the best times to read audiobooks? I already told you, if you're going to work, if you're traveling anywhere, listen to the audiobooks. You would not have that strain on your eyes and you would utilize your time very well. You'll also be able to do some reading. Then gymming. I would not suggest that you listen to audiobooks when you're doing cardio because it's not possible. I've tried it. But when you're doing strength exercises, which you should do definitely, then you can listen to the books, which I am currently doing these days, and it's awesome. If you're like, Manpreet, how can I know more about this gymming part and you doing all this stuff? My vlog channel is linked down below where I document my daily life, except the reading part. Lastly, it's very good to read an audiobook before you sleep, because when you need to sleep, you really need to just, to switch off the lights and all. And if you are still reading a book, especially a paperback, then your sleep is gonna get affected. So put on your headphones, turn off the lights and start an audiobook. Now, the best feature I found in Storytel so far is the sleep timer. It happened with me just yesterday. I was like, I need to listen to The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, but I also want to sleep. So I do not want to miss the book just because I slept, because I would not be able to find out my way back. And I didn't want to touch my phone because that affects my sleep. And luckily, Storytel has a feature of sleep timer where you can put on a timer from 5 minutes to 60 minutes. And the book narration stops itself after that time. And you can just drift into sleep, have some good dreams, get some great ideas, which is what I usually do when I am having a good sleep, and you're good to go. And my last tip for you to get into audiobooks is to be careful with the narrators. Now, every narrator is not going to be of your type, and whether you are able to even continue with that book depends highly on the narrator. So if one narrator you found who was a pain for you and you could not read that book, don't get discouraged about the audiobooking as a whole, okay? Try some other narrator and see what suits you. For example, Rhonda Byrne and Tony Robbins, they are both very different kind of narrators, and I absolutely love both of them. But Tony Robbins is kind of my kind of narrator because he's fast, he has this passionate voice. You guys know that I like talking fast. I like listening to people who talk fast. So that is my kind of narrator, and I would rather pick up the books. I would just look at the samples, listen to the samples. They are available on Storytel as well, and then see if the narrator is my type, and then go with the book. Now is the time to talk about some other features of Storytel that I absolutely loved. Sleep timer is like my favorite, and the best part is this app also has books in Hindi and Marathi. For those of you who like to read books in Indian languages, this is like awesome. Isn't that? Let me know what you think about this feature in the comments below right now. Another feature I really like is download feature of the books. Now, I would say I would not use this feature like every day or even once a month because I'm usually connected to internet all the time. That's one of the perks of working from home. When I'm traveling, it's a great feature because sometimes you are not in the connectivity area and then you need a book downloaded so that you can have disruption-free reading. Now, if you want to sign up to this app, I'll put a link down below which you can use for a free 30-day trial, I guess. Yes, try this app and see if it works for you. You can try this app and see if audiobooking is working for you after listening to all the tips I have shared with you, and then either continue the subscription, which is about 299 rupees per month, or you can cancel it after your trial. That is up to you. But if you are an iPhone user or if you are an Android user, you can download this app right now, which I would totally recommend you to do. Just try it out for a month and then decide whether you want to keep using it or not. Follow that link and then tell me if my video helped you out in getting into audiobooks. Another feature, which is like a very usual feature, that is about changing speed of the narration. And there is another feature where, for example, if you didn't catch the phrase or if your dog started barking, which happens with me so many times, and you could not catch what the person was saying, then you can just go back 15 seconds without fiddling with the the usual swipe thingy, which I think is very convenient for somebody like me. Yes guys, this is my video about how to get started with audiobooks or how to get into them. Sponsored by Storytel. Do check out the app as well, and also do check out my experience with audiobooking. Like when I started listening to audiobooks regularly, when I finished my first audiobook. That video is linked down below. Do check it out as well. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do let me know if you did, because your feedback really matters to me. I really want to listen to what you think about this video. Let me know in the comments down below. This is Manvi signing off. I'll be back with another video very soon. I hope it's long enough. Somebody in my last video said that my signature closing was not long enough. So, very soon.